How are we going over the story of a lifelong learner today? First, where I'm from. I'm from Arlington Heights, Illinois. This is a suburb of Chicago, Illinois. The population of the town is roughly 70,000, and I've always found that this is known to be a pretty small town when compared to a big city like Chicago, Los Angeles, New York. In reality, it's a pretty big town, and I've always grown up having a train station half a mile from my house that could bring me to Chicago. So it was always a pretty big area, but nothing like Tucson or Phoenix or where University of Arizona currently is in terms of like a big city where there's always people and it's not just families living in a suburb like outside. And so coming here, it kind of was a big shock to come to a big city that also had parts of it with um severe like homeless problems or like outside around campus like the all the crime gun violence. Like I grew up in a very privileged area, if that makes any sense. So even coming from Chicago, I think Chicago has a different feel, a different big city feel than Tucson, so I'm not really used to that. Another thing, I guess, where I came from and that how like made me grow as like how it affected me growing up was the weather, the climate, like the just the whole area of the Midwest in general. It was definitely a not as fast paced at times. There's a lot like less busy than a big city like Tucson, and also the weather would always change. We'd have fall, spring, and summer. That would be a lot more drastic of changes compared to here. We'd go from hundreds during the day to 70s during the day to 60s at the coldest during the day. And in Chicago, we'd also get snow a lot in the winters. And then, I mean, currently right now, it's probably snowing in 30s at times. So big culture shock here, going to completely different weather and having months on end in the beginning of the school year of straight 100. That's definitely a big change, and it will be a big change during January and February, not having snow. Where I am now, again, here at the University of Arizona, I have learned so far about important things about time management while I was here. I found that there's a lot more going on at every day, and there's a lot more things to get distracted. So the importance of staying on track and like kind of blocking out my day is been a big part of like getting good grades. How to balance school and social life, kind of as I mentioned, it's a lot more happening at once. So not the goal is not to only be studying all day and be in the library. I've had days like that, but then there's also been days where I didn't do any schoolwork and I was completely separated from classes. Right after class, I'd be doing more social stuff and less like academic work. So trying to find that balance is something I've learned so far. Navigating campus life is a big one in terms of like going around campus, figuring out when I have to be leaving to get to classes, how far each class is away from each other, what like what routes, what like ways I should take to get to class. Just the whole thing of like navigating where to go on campus, when to go on campus, at what time, and also getting food, um, planning out like if I'm going somewhere for an event, like where that is, how early I should leave to get there. A lot of these things were a lot different than just driving to certain places in my town, and also I lived there all not all 18 years of my life before this, so big changes there. But something I've gotten used to while I'm here. Tracking my assignments has been a big thing here compared to high school, and like just building out that schedule so I know when stuff's due, how early I should start working on it, not the day before. That type of stuff will definitely affect next semester going forward too. Intended majors, I'm thinking about optical engineering, mechanical engineering, and possibly architecture. I think optical engineering is definitely my top choice. I think most opportunities are available in that field, and I think the programs here at University of Arizona are some of the best in the country, if not the world. So just like hearing about that program in some of my lectures and presentations, hearing about what they're doing with the Hubble telescope, what they're doing with like major companies across the country, such as Apple, Google, Tesla, any military company you think of that needs engineering skills, they all work with optical engineering. I think that would be a big one to possibly go into. And where do I see myself going? In the future, after University of Arizona, I could definitely see myself going straight into industry with a optical engineering like degree, like right after not going to graduate school. And so I think that would give me a lot of job opportunities right after college because of how high the demand is for this like niche major that isn't offered at many schools. And I also think, just from what I've heard from the presentations, it would be a great time to get into the space with how technology is moving currently. And it wouldn't be an easy major, it wouldn't be an easy job, but it would give a lot of opportunities and it would allow me to like pivot if I wanted to. I also would want to continue learning outside of the University of Arizona after I'm done. I want to like travel and like do things that would just interest me, kind of like maybe a pilot's license. That's something I could do in Phoenix or wherever I live, and it's basically like a private pilot's license wouldn't be like flying big planes. It would more be like flying the Cessnas or the smaller like twin prop planes, and that would be also be a lot more affordable compared to something like a jet or like anything else. I think that would also be cool in terms of the engineering aspect, like just knowing about planes. And if I get a mechanical engineering degree, maybe then I would know how they work and it would just kind of like apply to my job too. So I think that'd be cool. Traveling, definitely want to travel. Definitely want to continue to see new things, learn more about like the world that we like live in. And yeah, that's my story of a lifelong learner.